This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So a couple of questions or kind of follow-up items. So I know that where we left off last week was I had asked for a couple of updates to the student file and the faculty file, right? Just adding first and last name. And then also asked about a schedule file. I will say I called Edward and left a voicemail and I emailed and I haven't heard anything back.
Oh, wow.
So and I'm happy to call again. But yeah, so that's unfortunately no good update on my end. I haven't heard anything from him, but any update on your end in terms of either of those files or the schedule file?
Yeah, I'm almost done with both files. The student file, I'm just going. We have around 150 or 60 students in our active in our office, and I'm going every one by one, working on the accommodations, the disabilities, and I want to make sure that they are the category is correct. So I'm making sure. I only have around 30 or so, and I'm finished with that.
Okay, great. So that's the
I'm
that is
almost done.
the
Yes.
legacy data, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Perfect.
Yeah.
But in terms of the big student import, like the, all students at Puerto Rico,
Yeah.
um, we were looking for in this file, if you recall, to add a first and a last name field.
Um, I believe we could do that, but I believe there are around 3,000 students or so. So
Yeah, I
we,
mean, I wonder if the person who made the file for you could just add those columns in. Usually that's information they have access to pretty easily. Um,
yeah, that information, that file, Edward gave it to us. So I
okay.
believe it was done in his office, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, okay. Um, I'll try calling him again. And then Valerie was going to try and get first and last name added to the faculty file,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Okay. And then the other file was the student schedule file. Is that something we would need to ask Edward for, or is there someone else that has been able to help with that?
Yeah, we can. I believe Edward or human. I don't think human resources will give us that, but we are in contact with the person who will provide us with that information. But we haven't heard anything from her.
Okay. Okay. So I was thinking, okay, so that's fine. So today I was thinking I could teach you how to do a manual import so that you can import all of the student data that we have and the faculty data, you know, as often as you like, right? Um, you're going to want to make sure that you can get up an update of this file every
Okay.
so often, right? So that new students who register with Ponce are added to the file. Um, so what I'll do is I'll teach you how to do the import, and then I also have a document with instructions.
Okay.
And it's basically you're just going to click a bunch of buttons, and um, I'll show you when we get to there. But there are some settings, and I will just build those for you when we have the final versions of the file, so that you just click a button and So
Okay.
so you'll get this as well. But yeah, so kind of so what I'm talking about here is obviously the like full student population, full faculty, and then hopefully one day full schedule.
Yeah.
Ideally, if we can get Edward to automate this export himself to the drop site, that's the best option. So
Yeah,
you don't
that
have
will
to do
be
this.
the ideal. Yes.
So I'll call him again today. And then, but if not, or at least for next semester, if you'd like to use Accommodate to send out accommodation letters and have student schedule appointments, things like that, you can import the student file as often as you get it updated. And then and then you can use the system for that. So I'll just walk you through that right now. So what you'll do is in Accommodate, underneath your tools, there is a field called import data. So if you click on import data, oops, I was in here earlier, it'll bring you to this screen. And what you'll do is you first want to pick the thing that you're importing. So if we're going to import a student file, we're going to pick students. We're going to go to choose file, and then you're just going to have, your file wherever you have it located on your computer, right? So you'll find the file. I would recommend using, you provided me with a copy of the file that looks like this. And this is the file I would recommend that you use. So if you can get a similar for faculty, great. If not, that's okay. But so once we get a final version of the file, I'll make sure that we practice with those. So you'll choose the file, and then there are a couple of settings that you'll just want to make sure are correct every time. So this is asking if there's a header row in your file, and there is. So you'll check yes. File type is delimited, and delimiter is tab. This is all written down in the instructions, so you should be able to just follow those. And then treat consecutive delimiters as one. We leave that checked no. We're going to click upload file. And then it's going to bring the file into this page where all the mapping happens. But what we'll do is over here, you'll see there's like a select saved setting. I'm going to build one that says UPRP manual import. So you'll just click on that, and it's going to do all the mapping for you. So that's the idea. I have one for right now. Once we hopefully get a first and a last name added to the file, I'll redo the mapping. But this is what the mapping looks like right now. So all you would want to do is you pick the mapping, and I'll give you the name of it once we do it. You'll go to preview. You'll be able to see what the data is going to look like. In this case, I've already imported this student, so it found a match, which is good, right? It's looking for their ID. We're going to X out of this, and we're going to hit import current, X out of that, and then hit import all. And then it's going to import all of the students into Accommodate. This is normal, so it's going to say, okay, there's a large number of records, so it'll let you know when it's done. If you X out of that and click start over, then it will give you an update on how far it is in process. And then once it's done, you can start over and import faculty. And if we get a schedule file, you can import schedules, and the process is exactly the same. So it's pretty easy once you've done it a few times, but the directions are very step-by-step. So they're going to say, click this button, you know what I mean? Do you have any questions about that?
How often we do have to do this every semester, every month?
I mean, if you can get an updated file every week, that's probably what I would do. Because there are probably students who register all the time. And so, if they're going to request accommodations, you want to make sure they're in Accommodate. Faculty is probably less likely to change, right? So if you did that once a month, you'd probably be fine. Schedule files, though, is another file that I would say as regular as you can get it, which is why we want this to be automated. We don't want you to have to do this, but we need to talk to Edward to make it happen. So, but now if I open up, and you'll get an email when the import is done. So the import finished. I just got this email. If you are the one doing the import, you will get the email. And then it will just give you an idea of, okay, so it added 2,000 students, right, that weren't in there before, and it found a few matches, which makes sense because I imported a couple of rows before.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and then if we come here into the student list, we can see all of our students.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wait, that's interesting. It put in, wait, do we have a first and last name in this file? No. I wonder if it that's interesting. I think it auto-populated. So it probably did it wrong. Well, maybe not.
Nombre will be name. It is that's the full name.
Okay, so it did it backwards, right? Because this would be the student's first name.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, yeah. So it did it incorrectly, but that's okay.
It's
Hopefully
okay.
we can get those added and then we can map them ourselves. And we can always clear out the data and re-import it once that's happened. So, but, so this is a little bit backwards, but now you can see the students in here. And if you open up their file and you go into core, on the first page, you can see, all of the information. I would not change these because those are built into the background. So we'll see if we can get a better mapping so that doesn't happen. But so you'll see all of the information. So if they have information about a special program that could benefit FERPA, an address, that will all populate.
What would that mean? The special program.
That's a great question. It was in the file. So like, I had special program 1, and then these were the options. I don't know if that means anything. If these options mean anything to you.
I believe COR will be the chorus. I don't know.
Oh. Yeah.
Because we have chorus, we have band, we have honor students. I don't know if that will be the special programs.
That's probably what that is. So it will show up in here if they have one.
Okay.
Same thing if they have a vet code or a benefit.
That will be
And then,
veterans.
what'd you say?
That will be veterans.
Yeah, so it'll be blank if they don't have that information, but if they do, it'll be one of these options.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and then in the profile page, this is all their academic information. So class level, their GPA, degree, career, last active, like last term enrolled, which is helpful, and then their major.
Yeah, that will be forensic psychology.
Oh, nice. So yeah. So the good news is, if this is the only file we're going to get, it's usable. It's going to be a little wonky because, without the first and last name field separated, the system is just doing its best guess. But if we can get those added, then I think we're golden. And then you would just want to get that updated as often as you want. But now any one of these students could fill out an intake form, a registration form, and you could process their request and accommodate, right? So if Adrian Diaz fills out a request for accommodations, when that lands in here, it's going to connect to his student profile, and then you can process and send him an accommodation letter. You won't, unless we get schedule data, you won't be able to send letters directly to faculty, right? That won't be possible unless we have schedule information.
Yeah, we need that.
Yeah. But worst case scenario, you could, here's what you could do. So here, let me show you again. Let's see. Oops. Sorry, I was filling this out very fast.
Sorry.
But so let's say so say one of these students, so say we don't have any schedule data, so we're kind of working bare bones. So student fills out their request, it will land in your public queue, so you can work on it. So if I click on the request from the home page, it's going to bring me in here. It should recognize their student profile, right? So this is good. And we kind of have to pretend that this has no enrolled courses because she won't have any. And then you'll hit accept and review, right? To you've done all this to pull the request through. We're going to save. We'll go ahead and approve. Say you want to meet with a student, she can log in, she can schedule an appointment. That can all be done through Accommodate because that's fine. And then when you go to approve accommodations, you would approve them, and you can tie them to the semester. So we can still build semesters in. She just won't have any courses. And so you wouldn't check off any courses. You would just save. And then when you go to send the letter, you'll still pull in your accommodation letter. It will still pull in the accommodations. And you can still request that she sign off on the letter, log into Accommodate. You just wouldn't request faculty signature because they won't be tied to courses, and so they won't be able to log in to see a letter. But then you can email the letter out to the student, and you go back to your core, we mark it as delivered, and now we can still see that in fall of 2021 she was approved for these accommodations. You can still see the letters that went out, and so then once we start to get scheduled data in the system, then you can start tying it to courses. Students can we can do all the other things, right? Test room booking, alternative format, service provider. So it's kind of will be a little bit bare bones, but still a way to get into Accommodate and start using it. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, and then again, because she has a student profile, she can log into Accommodate just like normal, and she can see her letters that you've created for her, and she can submit a request for an appointment. Is this? Yeah. And so she can request an appointment, and you can still go through that process. You can also check out equipment. So if you check out a piece of equipment to Louise, when she logs in, she can see that information in here. So you can do appointments, letters, equipment, surveys, other stuff, but just not those things that are connected to courses.
We are also working on a list from equipment. We are trying to translate that into an Excel. So if that is necessary, we will send that to you as well.
Okay, great. So updates are equipment, working on inventory, schedule file. We need to get in touch with Edward. Yes. And Valerie is working on getting a couple of fields, the first and last name, added to the faculty file. And if we want to add those two fields to the student file, we should reach out to Edward. So I'll give Edward another call. I will send another follow-up email, copy you on it. I think best case scenario, we get in touch with Edward, we get these files exported to the drop site and automated, and you don't ever have to do that import process, but I would say maybe more likely you will need to import the data. And so what we can do is we can, once we know for sure, we can have a session where I'll turn the screen over to you and you can do an import just to practice, and then make sure you feel good about it. But yeah, and so when does the next semester start at Ponce?
I believe like January 15 or sooner, maybe 12. Yeah, usually the first after 2 weeks, maybe. I don't know the exact date, but yes.
Okay. Just trying to see if there's a calendar.
maybe in the official. The first one is the official webpage for the university.
I'm just going to do this for myself. That's good. Okay. So I just want
I can ask Valerie through the message right now to see
okay.
what will
Sure.
be. I will see. I believe she will answer me
Okay.
very quick. Let's see.
Perfect. Does this look right? No. Okay, never mind.
She believe it will be 10
January
January.
10th.
Yeah.
Okay. So it would probably be a good idea to think about with the team, like what you want your launch plan to look like. So do you want to open up accommodate to new accommodation requests starting January 10th and say you can log in um, or you can submit a request for accommodations and you can start processing those. And maybe the week before, if you're back on campus, you could process letters for your existing
Yeah.
students. Because I think that without courses, I don't believe those students will be able to submit a semester request. So like, here, let me build. So,
Okay, Valerie is verifying to see if it will be the 10 officially. She believes
okay,
it's January 10, but she's verifying to make sure.
okay, sounds good. So like if I'm Louise and I log in, I don't think I can submit a semester request for spring 20. Oh, I guess I can. Let's try this. Submit for all. Okay, well, that works. So you can do a couple of things. So you can either have, you could either spend maybe the week before the 10th just processing letters, or you could pick a date and say to all your returning students, you can log into Accommodate, submit a semester request, and if we get one from you, we'll send you your letter. That's one option. Option two is we'll just send out letters for all of our existing students. And then the third thing you can do is open up the public request form for new accommodation requests. So you just kind of want to think about how you'd like to do that.
Yeah, what will be the better option?
Well, I think, with 100 and you said maybe like 120 students, that's not a huge load of students to create letters for. But if you think, I mean, going forward, students will have to submit semester requests every term. And so you could say to them, hey, log in and submit, and just for the first time, submit your semester request. And if we get it, we'll send you your letter. And you could open that up to them maybe the first week in January, once the holidays are over. Or, if the team feels like I think it just depends on how much you have prepared your students for Accommodate. So
Yeah.
if they don't know this is coming, that might be a lot to spring on them. But if they do know it's coming, then I think you could certainly.
Yeah, I was planning to do a tutorial like for
Okay.
all the students to
Oh, great.
navigate through these through Accommodate. So yeah, we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, I think if you do some tutorials, then yeah, they could
Yeah.
probably log in and submit their semester requests because they'll just go to their accommodation page, click on semester request, they'll add the term, they'll add new, they'll pick a term, and then they'll be able to click submit for all. And that's all they'll want to do. Um, so,
Valerie told me it will be January 15th.
oh, that's good. That gives you a little more time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So yeah. So then I think if you have time to do some tutorials, have your students log in, submit a semester request, and then what you'll see on your homepage is those semester requests will be in their own queue and you can process them all at once. So you could, view all and then you can go one at a time. So you can open up the semester request, this button right here, review semester request. You'll see the accommodations they're approved for. You'll hit save and create letter. It will pull up your accommodation letter and their approved accommodations. And you can request their signature or not, and then you email the letter. The other option is if you have like 50 in here at one time, 50 students submit all at once. Shoot. Too late. Okay. Well, we'll come back. We'll use somebody else. What you can do, so I'll go to add new. I'll say this is for spring 2022 and I'll submit for all. And then from your home page, if you have, 50 students in your semester request queue, you go to view all, you can select them all of the requests in here, and you can approve them in batch format. And so, what'll happen is you'll still see a preview. So you'll see a preview of the letter template. You can click online preview and, depending on how many students you have, you'll see that many previewed letters. So if you have 10 students in the queue, you'd see 10 previews in here. And you can still request the student signature, even if you do it in batch format, and then you go ahead and send the letter. And that way it takes care of them all at once. The letter goes out to the students and it closes out their requests.
Yeah.
So,
And where do they sign?
yeah. So now that we've sent a letter to Maya, she'll log back into Accommodate. She'll click on Accommodation Letters, or if you want to rename it, of course. And then she'll see the letter of accommodation that you have, and it'll say requested. So she'll click on that. She'll see the letter. And she'll sign her name. And she'll save. And then you can see in her accessibility request or case file, you can see the letter you sent and you can see that it was signed.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
What will be the parent letter?
Parent letter is
to signature.
That's if you are requesting faculty signature, then faculty get a quote unquote like child letter, and the parent letter is the letter that was sent to the students.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So for this first batch, if you're not going to have courses in the system, there won't be a parent letter. It'll just be the letter to the student. Yeah. But so those are all things you can do. And then again, of course, she can go in and schedule an appointment. If it's a brand new student and you want to meet with them, they can request an appointment if you have availability, stuff like that. So. Any questions?
No questions right now. The great thing about this is that it will be, I believe, it will be easy for students to understand how to
Yeah.
request everything. It will be a little bit tricky for new students that are not used to this, but I believe
Yeah.
all the students we have will be, it will be great for them.
Yeah. Well, and I would say too, I think what a lot of schools find is that it can be, a little intimidating for brand new students, but at the same time, it's the only process they've ever had
Yeah.
to learn. So for some of them, it's easy because that's just what they think you always do. But yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I was going to say something. Um, okay. I'm going to reach out to Edward again. Um, And if you could do the same, that would be great, just to see if we can get in touch with him.
Yeah,
And
I will
then,
talk with Valerie after this meeting is over. I will tell her. I will send an email to him and see. We're sorry this is taking so long, but
no,
yeah,
it's okay. It's not a problem for me. I would love to get you are, as end users, you are very like active in the system, which is awesome. And it's really hard when you don't have the IT pieces to help you move forward. Um, One other thing I want to mention, so import files are critical. The other thing is a single sign-on. So if we don't have single sign-on by January, students will have to do like what we call direct login. Um, and so basically what you have to instruct your students to do um, is sorry, is to hold on. Is they'll go to the homepage, they'll click on student, um, and then they'll have to use this forgot password option to create a password for
yeah,
themselves and accommodate. Um, and then they that's the password they use to log in. Um, so that's kind of the only thing that's not ideal. They can't just use their login from. So if I can get Edward on the phone, I'll try and get single sign on kicked off.
yeah,
Um,
that would be great.
because it's tough. It's just tough. We met so long ago, and so like we had asked for all these things, but I don't know. It sounds like they've been so busy, but yeah.
Yeah,
So I will see if we can get that up and running so that they don't have to make up a password. They can just use their password that they use in Puerto Rico. Uh, so yeah, I will do my best to try and get the ball rolling on those things. But in the event that that can't happen, they will just have to, click on forgot password. They'll put in their email, and then they'll get a password, a reset link email to them.
yeah,
Okay. So I would say if you can reach out to Edward too, that would be great. Um, I will do the same. And then we have legacy data and equipment inventory hopefully coming my way. Um, and then do you want to schedule out our next meeting so that we have
yes,
something on
that
the
would be great.
calendar?
Yes,
Okay. Um, do you have availability next week?
yes. What day?
Should I move this? Okay. How about, do you have anything on Thursday? I have 10 o'clock, 1, 2, 2:30. Anything in there work?
Mm, Thursday at 2.
Thursday at 2 works?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
yeah,
Perfect. All right, I will send that invitation after we hop off. Um, and maybe next week what we can do is I can turn the screen over to you and you can
yeah,
practice an import just in case. But hopefully we'll get in touch with Edward before then.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, actually, I have a question from the legacy data.
Yeah.
Um, in the disability section, the row of disability of the students, I'm having a hard time with the categories. For example, uh, you know, ADD and ADHD almost always come hand by hand, the two
Yeah.
together, but not necessary all the time. The student will have both. Um, if, for example, the student only have ADHD, do we have
Mhm.
to put that in that row like ADD slash ADHD, like one category?
So what you want it to look like is what's in your pick list. So
Yes.
as so as long as it has this in there,
Yeah.
then you should be fine. Um,
Oh,
yeah. I'm not sure that I see another ADD option. If there is one in your import, it will create a new disability, which is okay.
okay. It will be that one, I believe. Trastorno,
Okay.
sí,
Yeah, and you
necesidades.
can just do you want me to export this list and send it to you as an Excel?
Oh, yes, that will be great.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. So that way you can just copy, paste, and then what you can do is you can use like a find and replace if you
Yeah.
want, and then you can like find all of the accommodations that are written one way if they don't match this and replace
Yeah.
them with this if they're in fact the same accommodation or
Yeah.
sorry, disability. Um,
Do you
okay.
want me to do that in English or Spanish, or I can do both for you to
I would do
understand?
Spanish, so just so that it looks exactly like this. So all the language matches.
Okay, because I can do the Spanish row, and on the right I can do the an English row.
As long as the headers are in English, then I'm good.
Okay,
Um,
yeah,
so yeah, so everything else should be, exactly what it's going to look like in Accommodate. So you don't need to make English. That's very nice of you, but this is going to be for import purposes. It just needs to match. So I
oh,
don't need to know exactly what it means. I just need to
oh,
know that it's disability.
okay. You know, I did it almost entirely in English, at
Oh
least
no.
the at least the disabilities. But yeah, I don't have any problem with that. I can translate again to Spanish.
Okay. Well, you can use find and replace for that, hopefully. So maybe you just find respiratory problems and replace it with
Yeah,
problemas, right?
yeah,
So
that's easy. Yes.
yeah. Okay. I'm so sorry. I didn't even think about that.
Ah, don't worry, don't worry.
But yeah, I'll export this. I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you right after we hop off. And then
That's why it was taking me so long. I want I wanted to make sure every
okay.
translation was accurate, was correct.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I really appreciate that. I'm sorry that you did extra work on that.
Oh, don't worry, it's fine.
But yeah, but I'll send you this list. Do you want me to send you the accommodations list too, so that you have it exactly what it's going to look like in accommodate, so you can make sure?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right, I will do that. Um, I will send you both. Okay. Um, so I will send a follow up with this recording and just kind of recap of what we talked about. I will also give Edward a call and I'll follow up with an email that I'll copy you on if I don't catch him on the phone.
Yeah,
Um, and then I'll see you next week. But if anything happens before then, like if you get the faculty file updated, great. Would
yeah,
love, just let me know.
yeah. I will appreciate that. If you are going to call Edward, I believe right here is 11:43.
Mhm.
In at 12, all employees go to lunch break, so
Okay.
maybe he will not be in his office
Okay. So don't call at 12. Perfect.
until 1 p.m. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jose. If you need anything, let me know, but I will see you next Thursday.
Yeah, we'll keep in contact.
Okay. Perfect. All right.
Thank you so much. Have a great
Thanks.
day. See
You
you.
too. Take care. Bye.
Bye.